Now, if a man was shouting he wanted to kill his first Jew, you might imagine the police would respond immediately. In fact, it took them an hour to respond when that happened in December, by which time a man had been violently attacked. 4 months on, and the Metropolitan Police are still not investigating it. The victim didn't want to be identified, but he has been speaking exclusively to our reporter, Sam Holder.
This is the only known image of a man accused of an anti-Semitic attack that began with him declaring he was planning to kill his first Jew. Daniel called the police after hearing those threats. He's so traumatized by what happened next, he's not showing his face and is using a fake name. For the first time, he's speaking exclusively because of deep concerns about the police response.
So when I called the police, they said to me that it would take an hour. And I said, well, he's actually actively looking to kill somebody. Yeah, they said that they would take an hour.
Within minutes, he returned. This shop in West Hampstead is where Daniel became the target.
He's shouting things in Arabic at me. He looked at me and he said to me, looked straight in my eyes and said, "I'm not going to leave until you are dead." He then proceeded to punch me about 5 times, very, very hard.
You have a bit of boxing training, which enabled you to sort of take the punch properly. Yeah. How important do you think that was?
It saved my life. It was simply a life or death thing, because if I didn't know to roll with the punch, it would have knocked me out, or I would have ended up on the floor. And then he would have pulled the knife out, which he did later, and then he would have stabbed me.
Eventually, the attacker gave up and ran off. The police say the hour response time was because Daniel couldn't say exactly where the attacker was when he first called.
It doesn't make sense, because they phoned me the next day apologising for their length of time. The fact that he was there should have been police within 15 minutes. Like, it was an emergency. He's around. He's looking for Jews to kill.
4 months on, the case is closed. The man hasn't been identified. Daniel wanted the police to check bus CCTV in the area to find out where he'd fled to. But in an email to him, the Met said the resourcing required would be disproportionate to the potential benefit. We invited the police multiple times to take part in an interview, but they refused. In a statement, they said, as there were no buses passing at the time, it would not be feasible or relevant to request CCTV recordings from all buses in the area. This would be potentially days' worth of footage.
What do you think about that?
They don't know if he could be part of a terror group. They have no idea if he walked into a car driven by other people. There are buses like every 5 minutes going up and down there. And the fact that they haven't even bothered to look at it is really quite disgraceful.
The campaign against anti-Semitism is offering £10,000 for information.
Right now, a man who expressed his desire to kill a Jew and tried to do so is at large. And we think it's vitally important that he is off the streets as soon as possible.
Last year was the worst on record for anti-Semitism in London. Daniel's not the first victim to call for more police protection. Sam Holder, ITV News.